So are we doing prediction game?
Oh yeah, prediction. Yeah, that's what I was meant to set up.
Yeah, I got your memory.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just online events. The Demi Australian Open #1.
What's it gonna be?
Right, hopefully that goes through. I was actually trying to set up an event on TL because this was very last minute. Demi only set up this event like a couple of days ago. So yeah, apologies.
Really impromptu, but it is kind of cool that he's doing something now that we have now that Saturdays aren't a huge thing for EnDerr champs with the schedule. But regardless, we are going to be starting off our best of 3 upper bracket finals here on Romanticide LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way to the top left-hand corner map. We have the red Protoss player really popping off today. He is going to be representing the Cranky Ducklings, coming out from the Sydney ABBA sort of area. I need to familiarize myself with that. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the Filipino Zerg player. He is pink, representing Team Lab Esports. Oh my god. Going for a gas pool opening in a ZvP, it is EnDerr.
And already doing EnDerr things.
The act that was happening before my eyes shocked me. I think that was like a 14-14. That was crazy.
It was, in fact.
Oh my god. It is scouted, thankfully, but this is crazy.
Yeah, it's a very unorthodox timing, to say the least.
I mean, it's very aggressive, right? He's going to have a lot of gas to work with. This is most likely going to be for fasting speed. This could also be for just a follow-up Baneling bust as well. I'm very curious to see what he does with this gas.
As it slowly gets closer to that 100 mark, is he going to pull out a gas, or is he just going to continue and go for that follow-up Baneling bust? I feel like that would be the most effective way of doing things, but he will pull off a gas. Ooh. So it's just pure Lings here on out. He's trying to go for a quick third follow-up as well.
That he is. These Lings are going to be able to push away this probe. So far, StarDuck hasn't overreacted, which is pretty interesting to me. But again, Ling speed is on the way, and EnDerr could still go for a follow-up timing with Ling speed once it finishes up.
That he really could, especially with those 3 bases. He's going to have plenty of larva to work with.
Exactly. Oh boy.
So if you're StarDuck right now, what would you be thinking? You know that EnDerr is going for that 3 hatch, despite going for that gas pool.
Well, so
how safe are you going to be feeling?
Something that's important to note is that StarDuck didn't see the gas. He only saw the pool.
Oh,
so
he did not.
Yeah, for all he knows, it was a pool first, right? Which explains the Lings. All this makes sense. But because he doesn't know about the gas, he doesn't know how much danger he's in. We have another wave of Lings on the way, by the way. Ling speed is about to finish up. The wall's not a wall.
We do have another wave of Lings on the way, and that wall is not a wall. I also want to point this out, like, EnDerr is making himself a macro hatch.
Oh my god.
He does not want this game to go beyond the Ling stage.
Oh no, StarDuck, he just... Funada StarDuck, he didn't go all the way into the main base with his probe scout. He just thought that the pool was enough, and now the Lings have shown themselves. Oof.
Yeah, but just the right time, I would say. Does see that macro hatch.
And now, what is going through StarDuck's mind right now? He's like, what? He's like, what? So he's throwing down the wall immediately, which is the correct response, right? What's important to note is that EnDerr, he's making queens. And he made a wave of drones. The Lings, they are here, to be fair. Like, they're trying to bust through, but he's not making a wave of Lings behind this.
I feel like EnDerr is just giving us all whiplash here. I'm gonna be very aggressive. Oh, I'm gonna drone hard. I'm gonna be very aggressive again.
Well, I mean, that's why, like, you could argue that EnDerr is a little bit closer to Miyamaika when it comes to that Zerg Muta triangle. Because, again, I think 100% if he wasn't scouted, especially if this macro hatchery wasn't scouted, I think that EnDerr would have committed to the Link Flood. But because the Adept was able to go all the way across the map, he respects StarDuck enough to be like, you know what, you're probably going to defend, I'm going to drone up.
Absolutely. You don't make yourself that much larva only for drones.
Exactly.
Oh, very good catch there. And the probe completely preventing that Nexus for now, anyway. Started doing StarDuck things with his Void Race and gonna be following that up with a second Stargate.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, StarDuck, he wants to get into, I imagine, +1 flyer attack. There we go. +1 flyer attack is on the way. We have double Stargate Void Ray. This is the style that he was going for against Oreo, and this is his preferred style. It took him a while to get here because of how wonky the start was, but it's on the way. But what's scary is that EnDerr, he still has a lot of larva to work with. He did drone up pretty heavily, right? He's ahead in workers, but we have a Baneling Nest being thrown down. Like he can still ramp it up whenever he wants.
He definitely can. There it is. I was gonna say, where is the lair? Turns out, currently in production. So EnDerr is gonna have to be, I suppose, a little more passive. He can be a lot more active with his lings and try to morph in banelings across the map as well, but I'm very much doubting how much he can get done. Just because StarDuck has a couple of Void Rays out already, and he's producing 2 at a time.
This is very true. Again, like, this is just EnDerr. Like, this is a very unique game.
It's a little odd, you could say.
Exactly, EnDerr the odd, mate. That's what they call. That's what they call it. Bring it back. But like, this is this is just, again, something very unique to how EnDerr plays, and I really wonder where this is going to take us. I have no idea, mate. We're on a trip. Buckle up, people, because we don't know where EnDerr's going to take us, mate, you know?
Yeah, where we're going, we don't need no, I can't actually tie that into anything that EnDerr's doing right now, but thankfully he is going for that Hydra, and there's a Nidus!
Oh, let's go. That Manila subway is on the way, mate. Nidus Network, Hydroden. We have plenty of queens, mate. We have 4 queen production. We have 4 hatcheries worth of queens being produced right now, and he can just send that all across the map and end the game.
Jesus, he's really proven that you don't need the 4th hatch to be mining.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we have these Void Rays here for StarDuck. They want to try and snipe whatever they can, but they were seen earlier, and the queens are here to respond.
And they are very important transfuse there on the extractor. Hydras are the most intensive gas unit, but when you're only on 3 bases, you really want to make sure you're mining as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. Oh.
Especially if you're using Banes as well. Speaking of Banes, they do not get to connect on that mineral line. Very good use of the Force Field and a Void Race. But the Queens are about to pop at the front line.
Yeah, the Knight is about to pop out right on Sharkules' face. Gee. I know you can't see it, but the stream can. There we go. Nidus is here. Queens are popping out, and StarDuck, he wasn't ready for this.
Not at all. Not too many defensive structures. Only now throwing down these shield batteries. To be fair, this is still a ramp that's a little bit tricky to move up on, especially with Queens. Energy Queen being sniped. That much less transfuses available for EnDerr.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, StarDuck, he backs off and he allows these queens to push on forward. But you know what? The force fields are pretty good. The carriers are coming out. Overcharge is being used, and it is within range of these Void Rays, and he defends.
Yeah, not quite enough Hydras or Queens there to really take out the Interceptors, but now we figure out why. Because EnDerr, he will use that subway to get everywhere behind you.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we do have a weapon of charge loss, and they're getting on top of the Hydras are going down, and despite not being in range of all this stack defense, StarDuck, he's also holding here.
Man, that Guardian Shell right at the end. Not sure how much it actually helped out, but yeah, he's holding very, very well, and just trying to get as many reinforcements as he can, but I feel like he just needs to regroup. He can't keep trickling in units from here.
Yeah, exactly. Queens just keep falling. EnDerr, he's trying to make this work, but the defensive position for StarDuck is just too strong, and the Nidus is going to go down.
As will all of these Hydras with it. EnDerr trying to go for another Nidus, but this feels like more of a Hail Mary play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here we go. Nidus is in the main base. What is even in that Nidus? A couple of queens, 4 queens, some Hydras. Is this really going to work?
I mean, it can take out +2 at the very least. If he can get the Fleet Beacon, it would be absolutely huge, but he can't quite yet. Very good recall. EnDerr, he didn't know when to retreat.
He needs to know when to cut his losses, and instead he is the one being cut. GG gets called, and StarDuck takes game number 1.
Whew. Grace under pressure.
Right? He wasn't prepared for the Nidus at all, mate. He was like, oh my god. Yeah, just cool as a cucumber, mate.
Yeah, I could actually see that little bit of panic in his mouse movement.
Yeah,
as he was getting those shield batteries down, but once he was able to deal with clean up one front, went to the other. EnDerr really didn't have a whole lot of supply. Just really feels mistimed from his end.
Yeah, I mean, it to be fair, it was mistimed, right? Like,
there you go. All right, then.
As in, like, you know, he initially wanted like a Ling Flood, and then he wanted Ling Bane, right? He was kind of like going from plan A to plan B to plan C to plan D, and because of that, it was kind of wonky, and ideally it catches your opponent off balance, right? Because of the weird timing of it all. But at the same time, because it's had a weird timing, it doesn't hit as strong, right, as it would have been if he had gone for it from the beginning, you know?
Yeah, unless the player would have been completely thrown off guard.
Oh yeah.
But StarDuck, he has embraced a bit of that madness. He's well aware. Side note, but I do see that Nidus popping off on the Sharkules, catching up on stream. And because I have the GPO logos mod installed, so for me it was coming up from Duck.
Oh, ooh.
It was like bursting out of the Duck's chest like an alien.
It's terrifying.
Still had that smile.
Oh my god, but GG, well played by StarDuck. We are just remaking the lobby. Are just making sure it is set up with WCS Gameheart.
Yeah, we need to be able to count workers as they fall, amongst other things.
Yeah, mainly the counting though. That's the most important one.
I can only go up to 10, then I start running out of fingers. Apparently there are devices you can use though.
Apparently, you know, some people use their toes.
Ah. It's a neat little life hack. I guess you could use your knuckles as well. Gives you an extra 4.
It's true. It's
but
true.
Yes, 4 total, I guess. Not 4 each. But yes, we are just waiting a quick second for EnDerr here.
That we are. He is asking for a small break, which is fine. We can totally give that to him. And this gives us an opportunity to talk about how you can support this tournament.
Such as you can exclamation mark Matcherino. That's a Matcherino picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did use it. Yeah, exclamation mark Matcherino in the chat will bring you to the Demi Australian Open 1 Matcherino page. Look at that beautiful new Matcherino makeover that they've got with their UI. Don't gotta remember any codes. In fact, is there a code here?
If there
well,
is,
whatever.
Doesn't matter.
We didn't put it in the command anyway, so no need to input a code because we didn't give you a code. Just click claim code and it will do that automatically. You don't need to log in, but I mean, that's just a login. If you don't remember your own code to log in, then well, you have to make a lot of emails.
That's in the chat.
Not really, it's just like a recovery thingy.
Exactly. But yeah, you can use Maturino to support the tournament. Again, massive shout out to Lord Logan for boosting the prize pool by 25 USD. So thank you so much for supporting the scene, the tournaments, the players, the Ducklings. And speaking of, you can also, if you want to go that extra step, you can support the Cranky Ducklings here on this Twitch channel by subscribing. You can throw out those Twitch primes, or you can subscribe normally. With that, you gain access to replay packs. You also gain access to our sub-only Discord channel, and you can also help out and also, try and calm Yaku down as he tries to draw for school.
But speaking of calming down, we are continuing our upper bracket finals with Oxide LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming down from the Sydney Arbor sort of area. Gonna be representing the Cranky Ducklings as the official, I don't want to say mascot, but what's it called? Representative? Representative, let's say. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Filipino Zerg player. He is pink, representing Team Liab Esports, currently down 0-1 in this best of 3 series. It is EnDerr.
And if it ain't broke, don't break it, I suppose. EnDerr's doing things a little bit different this time with his gas pool. He went at it at 16 supply. So 14 earlier.
Yeah, a little bit later, so a little bit less committed. Very interesting that regardless, like, he puts a lot of stock in link speed, which, to be fair, you can do a lot with it. Unfortunately, if it gets scouted, it seems like EnDerr doesn't opt to, right? So yeah, we'll see if StarDuck does end up going into the main base, because he still hasn't seen this.
And he has not. I have to imagine he suspects something coming up. He's blocking this. He may or may not have seen the other drone come in to take a bit of an unnatural base for EnDerr. But regardless, this is a little sus.
I mean, he knows at least that it is a pull first. He doesn't know about the early gas again. So he doesn't know about the early speed that could pose a threat, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, he's trying to be annoying here. Ooh, doesn't delay the base as EnDerr once again goes for a bit of a faster third hatchery.
Will he get that fourth, or quote-unquote fourth? That macro hatch is what I want to know.
Oh god, that's the question, mate. That's the question.
I feel like he needs to calm down a little on that.
As StarDuck, he's just doing StarDuck things. Like, he's done the same opening every single ZvP that we've seen today, and so far it works. But does EnDerr have something else to store for us here on Oxide? If he does, oh no, there it is.
He's doing it again. Alrighty then, making a lot of links to follow this up with. Link speed is almost complete this time, so I have to imagine EnDerr will be able to hit with a little bit less resistance.
True.
On Romanticide.
Yeah, we just have to keep an eye on this larva. EnDerr, he's not working with a lot of drones, but he's going to have a lot of larva to just drone up if he wants to, or he can just hold down that Z key as the first wave of lings are coming across the map. Just 6 lings, though. You know, they're just kind of testing the water here. And, ooh, EnDerr, he's getting human-sized carapace.
Okay, so a little bit trickier in the works. Very important block off here. Start getting that gateway? Yeah, gateway right at the end. Door was wide open for quite some time, let me tell you.
Yeah. Thankfully, StarDuck does wall off in time, and he is going for an Oracle, so this Oracle will be able to scout across the map as well as deal damage. Meanwhile, oh, nicely done. He is able to keep his Adept safe. And once again, EnDerr, he's not droning up too much. He's making a handful of drones here and there, but supplementing that with lings.
Alright, then, being a lot more committed to the aggression this game, which I suppose you can get away with a lot more on Oxide in particular, especially if you're just looking to get a third base, or take out a third base, rather.
Yeah. Meanwhile, EnDerr, he was looking to try and hit that third, but there's a Void Ray here, so I can't really do much about that. The Oracle is rushing across the map. With this Oracle, he'll be able to deal some damage. There's no Spore.
There is not. EnDerr was getting a Spore earlier on at some of his bases, but canceled it.
Oof.
Opting for more drones instead. Speaking of more drones, StarDuck just got a bunch of them.
He did, yeah. 5 drones went down.
Total.
Nicely done there by the first Oracle. He didn't decide to go towards the natural or the third base to scout. Fun fact, StarDuck actually hasn't seen the 4th hatchery yet. Does it matter too much? Arguably not.
Yeah, if it's not mining, then what is he really going to be using that larva for at this stage of the game?
I mean, the thing is that, like, what this confirms, I guess, is that there aren't going to be roaches. Like, you don't get a base like this. I say that as a rich when it comes down. Like, you don't get a base like this if you don't want to, like, use that larva, right? That's why it is a little bit odd to me that we do have a roach warren. I'm sure he's going to still make plenty of lings, but yeah, interesting decision.
I guess it could just be for Ravages, maybe, to take out force fields here and there. I don't... Look, we never said that EnDerr was conventional or
He's
sane.
Just a bit odd, you know?
Yeah. A little eccentric.
Exactly.
He's EnDerr the Odd. That's his wizard name.
Meanwhile, Lair is on the way, so it's still going to take some time for that roach speed to kick in. I think the most surprising thing to me is that we don't see like a mass commitment into queen production, unlike last time. And obviously that did lead to a Nidus network and queens across the map. But like, so often in this matchup, we see queen pushes, and that's kind of what I expected, but we're not really getting that here.
What if it's a Spire, though? That's what I'm thinking, because EnDerr, he made that roach warren a lot earlier on, but he's not producing any roaches. There we go! That's why he wasn't making any queens, because he knew what his anti-air was gonna be.
Mate. Yaku, you are in the brain of EnDerr right now. You are deep.
I'm traversing it.
You're deep in there, mate. You're in the cavity, mate. What is happening right now?
It is quite dark. And it is filled with words I don't recognize. He's still getting Galactic Constitution. Just in case.
They're like, it looks kind of like Spanish, but not quite. I don't fully understand it.
There's like a bit of Malay here and there, but I don't know if it's the same meaning.
It smells great, though. It smells...
It does.
Smells kind of like my sister's boyfriend. Oh, God. Ay.
There's a lot of sugar around in here with the tomato sauces.
Oh no, mate. That's the worst part about the Philippines. Oh God.
The worst part about the Philippines, a roving band of Void Rays are starting to come in before EnDerr can really get any Mutalisk out. Plenty of spores though.
There are plenty of spores. One queen did go down though, and honestly, there's not that many. Another queen is gonna get focused down. Oh my God, this is the high energy queen, and it gets focused. There's no transfuse. Mate, the lair.
There is not, and that's a lot of prismatic alignment. Starting to find an angle, and he will take out that lair. Dip out of there as quickly as possible. So much damage dealt, but now EnDerr's looking to reciprocate with 11 Corruptors.
Mate,
against Void Rays.
There was a moment there. I feel like StarDuck, if he wanted to, he probably could have stayed there and killed all the queens. He only lost one Void Ray for that lair. To be fair, there's plenty of larva for EnDerr to work with because of the macro hatch, but losing a lair does hurt a lot. And I agree, like, the Corruptors are great because carries are coming out. And if you have enough Corruptors, and if there aren't enough Void Rays, like, you can still fight this.
Yeah. As long as your target firing is on point, as long as you're able to kite as well as you really can. I'll say, despite losing that lair, it is super important that EnDerr didn't lose his actual, tech buildings being Inspire.
True.
His upgrades may be a little bit delayed down the line, but for now, he can still produce what he needs to produce.
Exactly. Meanwhile, StarDuck, he still hasn't seen the corruptors, but oh no, they do not reveal themselves. Not yet. That corruptor count is getting higher and higher. Yo, he wants the Void Rays.
They're gonna intercept! He does want the Void Rays, and look at that flank!
Ooh.
Beautiful ambush coming out from EnDerr.
Yeah, 1, 2 Void Rays go down immediately, and now if we have some shield batteries, some cannons on the way to try and protect these carriers. These carriers are so vulnerable to this number of corruptors.
They absolutely are. StarDuck's continuing to produce more and more carriers for now, as well as Void Rays. So won't have too much of a buffer for them, but thankfully he is getting a couple of DTs. He can morph them into Archons. That's actually a surprisingly decent anti-corruptor unit you can get on top of them.
Oh yeah, it definitely can be. Meanwhile, yo, you snipe EnDerr's base, EnDerr snipes your base. The Nexus will go down. Caustic Spray is just too much DPS there. So a nice pick-off by EnDerr, kind of equalizing the damage that he took earlier.
Yeah, look at how further ahead EnDerr is on the income right now.
Oh yeah, he's far ahead, mate. It's not even close.
I saw that mineral graph plummet after that Nexus got taken out. Well, I actually didn't because I don't have a numpad, but I saw it in my head.
God. Meanwhile, here we go. The Corruptors are coming in. Oh god, the Archons are not in position.
That they are not, but I'm not convinced EnDerr has enough to fight this anyway. His Corruptor count is really starting to get shaved off. He has plenty of roaches on the ground, which will deal very well against these Archons, but those Void Rays, despite their low numbers, really put in some work against those Corruptors.
Oh, that they did, but now there are only 3 Void Rays left. This time the Archons are forward, though. They do get some volleys off, some massive volleys on the
Corruptors. Oh, the splash damage! Yeah, absolutely massive. EnDerr did have his roaches in position, but StarDuck was not worried about them at all. He targeted down the Corruptors, and now StarDuck is going to be our first grand finalist of the Demi Australian Open. GG indeed. StarDuck taking out EnDerr 2-0. He's popping off to daylight. Oh, I'm so proud of him.
Wow, GG, well played, StarDuck. He's taken out so many big names. He takes down Oreo, he takes down Pez, and now he takes down EnDerr, one of the strongest Zerg players in the entire region, including Southeast Asia. What a showing today, mate.
Absolutely, and now I'm just hoping he brings it all home here in that grand finals. His opponent is still to be determined. It could be an EnDerr rematch, it could be a PvP, or it could be a PvT. Either way. No, wait, not a PvP. ZvT or a ZvP.
Yeah. That it will. That it
no,
will.
Wait, no,
I mean,
PvP.
It could be any matchup, mate. It could be.
It really could.
As there in the lower bracket, there is one of each race. Azure and Pez are currently duking it out in a best of 3. The winner goes up against EnDerr. The winner of that goes up against StarDuck. So StarDuck, he has quite some time to get some food, go to the bathroom, relax, kind of contemplate what just happened in that series and reflect a little bit. And meanwhile, EnDerr is not out of the tournament. As you were saying, you know, he is there waiting for his next opponent.